this is Matt from Ace Appliance in Toledo, Ohio. Welcome back to another in-home diagnostic video brought to you by ApplianceVideo.com. Alright, well, what we have here is a Whirlpool direct drive washer. The customer's complaint is during the wash, it'll wash just fine, but when it gets to the spin cycle, doesn't do anything, doesn't get rid of the wash water. Lift it up. Basically, we're not hearing the lid switch actuate. So you take like a screwdriver or something, just stick it down, push that lid switch down just a little bit further, and it's kicking on, spinning the water out. So we know we've got a defective lid switch on here. So what we're gonna have to do is actually replace the lid switch. Okay, well, the way that we are going to replace this lid switch, it's not the recommended way to do the repair, but a lot of do-it-yourselfers find it a little bit easier this way. It pretty much eliminates the need to totally remove the cabinet to get to the wiring harness and feed everything up. Basically what we're going to do is we're just going to cut the lid switch here and cut the new one out and just splice the lid switch itself in. What we're going to do first, before we unplug it, we're going to got it set to the high-speed spin. Just going to stick something down. If possible, I always just drain the water out. In case you drop anything into it, you're leaning over with a cell phone in your pocket, anything like that, just eliminates the chance of things getting wet. Alright, before we do anything, we're going to go ahead and unplug the unit. Lift the lid up here. You got the two Phillips screws that are going to be holding the lid switch in place. Alright, well, now that we have this out, you can kind of get some access to the wiring, but it's pretty short. What you have on the inside is there's this bar here that's going to be snapped in place along the top of this cabinet. There's a little clip all the way up in the back right hand corner. You have to kind of bend the tub and stick your hands up in there, and the clip is probably right about here, and you got to pop the plastic connector out, and that will give you your leeway. Pull a little bit of this. This right here is a tube that goes nowhere. I believe it's like a breather tube or something. It's not going to be on your new lid switch, so disregard that. What you're going to do, again, make sure the unit is unplugged, because these wires would be live with the wire or with the timer pulled out. Just cut it as close to the lid switch as you can, and you can see this is why our old lid switch was going bad. It actually just separated there, so it was probably hanging a little bit low. So we're going to take the new lid switch, give yourself a little bit of extra leeway, about 3 inches or so. You don't want to have too much, because then you'll have some extra wiring kind of hanging around. And strip the wire down about a ½ inch. Don't want to strip this down too far, because you don't want any electrical wires exposed. Another reason why we drain the water out of the tub, if you drop this, it would be more than likely damaged, but we got no water in there, so should be just fine even if we did drop it. Go ahead and wire nut it. Doesn't make a difference as far as the wires are concerned, which one goes where. You're just completing a circuit. And I never twist the wires together before putting the wire nut on. I just put them close to each other, make sure they're stripped the same distance, and let the wire nut do the work, let it bite. Always check them, give it a pull, make sure the wire nut bit. You don't want that wire nut to just fall off on you, because you do have some water and stuff that potentially could splash up there. So what we got the lid switch basically just spliced in right there. Alright, well, just as a kind of an added precaution, because there is electrical connections right here and there's water, we're going to take a little bit of electrical grade silicone and just sort of fill the back of these wire nuts a little bit. Just to sort of seal them, make them kind of watertight. Paper towel, just sort of clean it up just a little bit, get some of the excess residue off. And as an additional precaution, we're going to go ahead and electrical tape it. And these should be pretty watertight at this point. So we're going to go ahead and you have to snap the plastic piece back into place. So you reach up. You have to do this almost completely by feel. I usually take my finger and pull the mounting bracket towards me and use my other hand to sort of push the plastic piece down into place. And you'll feel it snap into place. And kind of take a look. Switch is going to mount just like that. Alright, and you just kind of look through your holes, you'll see them line up. Just get them started with your fingers. That. And these screws here, you never want to tighten with a drill, just because if you do over tighten them, they are basically threading into the plastic of the lid switch. So you just want to hand tighten them up pretty good. You really don't have to over tighten them, just snug it down. But just again, as an example, this is what the screw itself is threading into. So if you do over crank it, you can pretty much cause the same exact thing to happen and have that crack on you. Alright, before we go any further, we're just going to kind of make a sweep with our hands, make sure that the wiring is, you got nothing hanging down, dangling, that's going to rub on your tub. And just sort of kind of tuck anything excess up out of the way. Feels good, nothing loose. So now we are going to go ahead and plug the unit back in. Set it to a high-speed spin. Pull. And the unit is spinning. And when we open it, it should stop spinning, which it did. So we know our lid switch is operating properly. Again, this is not the recommended repair. However, it is a little bit quicker, and most do-it-yourselfers will probably prefer this route. Thank you for watching another quality video from ApplianceVideo.com.